Spawning over here in the bottom position, ladies and gentlemen, 6 o'clock, we have representing Team FX Open. He's one game away from going to I-47 with that round of 16 seed. With that £150 travel stipend and £100 for winning the online qualifier. He's also going to get VIP tickets as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Slavik. But this guy in the 12 o'clock position, he sure ain't going to go down without a fight. One of the UK's strongest Zergs. He has taken out many, many notable names, including Dignitas Bling before. He's taken out Johnny Rico, Zicto Mini. He's taken out basically a lot of the top players here. And he has the potential to take this game as well. Let's see if he can do it, though. He's one game down. It is Ourk. So, a pretty tense game here for Ourk. He needs to calm his nerves down, play his normal game, and try and just do what he does best and win. Slavik, in the meantime, is going to be feeling pretty good because he had a very similar army composition to Ourk in that previous game. And at the end of the day, in this particular matchup, if you can see that on the exact same army composition you can beat your opponent, that's just such a big confidence booster. The fungal growths were just so much better for Slavik. He kept his Hydralisks alive, which was the crucial bit. He had more Hydras in his army composition to a point where I was worried. Because if Ourk just powered through with Roaches and started hitting the Hydras with his Roaches, that would have been so good for Ourk. But not quite able to get there thanks to the fungals from Slavik. So pool first coming out from Ourk into hatch. And we have a hatch first going into pool from Slavik. Both just different routes to exactly the same thing. Of course, hatch first means you get access to that larva quicker, but pool first means you get your queens out faster. So roughly the same thing as far as economy goes, as we have got gases being taken from both sides now. So pool hatch / hash pool, and then we're going to be going into gas. And not too much of the ordinary going on at the moment, guys. We have got queens popping out. So let me take a quick look at the chat. The chat's talking about pizza and frozen dumplings, which is really unfair because I've been casting since 5 o'clock and I really want... Oh! That's unfair, guys. That's all I'm going to say. That's actually unfair. And it looks like they're talking about ordering pizza for each other. But of course, no one talks about ordering pizza for delivery to me, sad panda. We have got 2 queens now, of course, coming out. Only the single queen from Ourk because he went pool first, so was able to get that queen out at his main base just that little bit faster. And nothing too much out of the ordinary is happening other than Ourk has already got his Zergling speed. We do have a 100 gas now being dumped into Zergling speed from Slavik as well. He's still mining 3 drones on gas, and so is Ourk. So we're going to be seeing some tech up from these guys relatively shortly. Very quiet game on 2 bases so far. And we're now actually talking about metagame strategy relating to pizza. You guys are actually friggin' cruel. Nick, Matt, Geo, if you're there, shush. I can't believe this. God, you guys are so BM. Bailing nest going down for both players now. I love you, really. And we have a spine crawler going on for Ourk as well. So once again, he's being just a little bit more defensive. Slavik's going to be able to use those extra minerals not put in the spine crawler for maybe a couple extra drones, something similar to that. He's actually up 36 to 34 drones at the moment, so that's perfect. That's exactly 100 minerals. And that was basically what Ourk put into the spine crawler. We have a layer. Ooh, quite a quick layer coming down from Slavik as well. So he might potentially be going up to a very fast Baneling Muta composition there. We'll find out what's happening in just a mo. Ourk now starting his layer a little later. I want to say about 30 seconds. Yes, about 30 seconds later than Slavik. And Slavik now taking all of his gases across both bases. We have got Lings, though, scouting this out from Ourk. Really nice. 2 Lings getting into the main base, seeing that the layer is completed, seeing that every gas is being taken. And that's going to be very valuable information for him indeed. Some defensive Banelings coming down from Slavik at the moment, but nothing too out of the ordinary. Both sides being a little defensive while they get up to their layer tech. We have got an Evo chamber coming down first from Slavik. No such indication from Ourk at this time. He's now getting his second, third, and fourth gases. So a little bit later, but he will have more minerals to spare. And I just heard a baneling explosion. Oh my god, that was a baneling explosion inside the main base of Ourk. Number of workers killed 5. And really nicely done there by Slavik. Evo Chamber and Roach Warren going down. Ourk isn't too badly hurt though, guys, because if we take a look at the worker supply, it's 52 to 51 in Ourk's favor. So that's not too bad at all. Roach Warren and Infestation Bit going down for Ourk, and Spire once again going down for Slavik, and he is taking his third base simultaneously. Now, Ourk does not have an overlord over the third base. Slavik has an overlord over Ourk's third base all the time, you notice, but Ourk never sends an overlord over to Slavik's third base. Really interesting stuff. I don't like that as much, because it's going to take him that much longer to figure out that the third is actually up. And Ourk's going to be taking his third as well, but Slavik knows instantaneously what's going on. So he's got the Spire about 3/4 of the way complete now. We have the Infestation Pit finishing up for Ourk. And we have a bunch of Lings moving out across the map for Slavik at this point in time, leaving a couple of Banelings behind in case they're required a little later. Going to be able to pick apart a lot of these Zerglings. 1 defensive Baneling. Okay, now 3 defensive Banelings for Ourk. Going to make it, oh, super difficult for Slavik to attack into. And that was a good Baneling hit, picking off about, I would say, about 6 or 7 Zerglings there. So not bad at all. And now using the Lings to surround some Roaches. Excellent choice of play coming out of there, but he needs to be careful about those Banelings. Getting one of them off very, very economically indeed. Slavik doing so much with so little as far as this engagement is concerned. And, better yet, he has 9 Mutalisks on the way, but Pathogen Glands is on the way for Ourk as well. Let's see what he can do about it. +1 missile attacks going down for both players. You have Glial Reconstitution coming down for Ourk. A round of 10 drones coming in for Slavik. So, ooh, very nice Baneling hit once again. But now moving in with some drones against those Zerglings. I'm a little bit surprised there. And 1 or 2 of them go down. Slavik currently had 87 supply to 69. And we have the Mutas popping into the third base. And these Roaches can do nothing about it. Picking up one of those Roaches. And it looks like Spore Crawler is immediately going down. The Mutas need to go into the natural expansion, in my opinion, to try and kill off some drones. But it looks like he is just going to be killing off the Spore Crawlers at the third base location. Is this going to be a bit too late? No, he will be able to get that. No problem whatsoever. That Spore Crawler might be able to get a single Mutalisk. No, not even. That Mutalisk survives with 2 hit points, ladies and gentlemen. Reasonably cutting it fine there, but it looks like he should be able to put this third base under siege. Now imagine, oh, there's the fungal we've been looking for. But we have got the Mutas picking off an Infestor now as well. He needs to spread them and attack the Queens if he wants to continue with this aggression. And he shouldn't be going in with just 3 of them like that. That is bad. He needs to run away. Okay, good. He runs away with the rest of them. Picks off a Queen and an Infestor. Not a bad trade there for Slavik. And it looks like he is moving out across the map now with additional Zerglings towards a third base location. He knows that the Queens and the Infestors are out of position. He knows that the natural expansion and the third base are not connected by creep. So now it's time to try and poach those Infestors before they can go anywhere. And Ourk moving his Infestors to the back of the base, knowing that this might happen. Really good reactions there from him. And Slavik currently finishing up his macro hatch as well, which I believe is at his third base location. Yep, it is. +2 coming on for both sides, slightly faster for Slavik, of course, and a couple of Lings getting into the main base of Fungal Growth, trying to stop them, and actually does. So little health left on those Lings after that one Fungal. That was pretty useful there, actually, from Ourk. Managing to clean up at the third base is completely under siege, and oh god, the Infestors! Once again, would somebody please think of the Infestors, because all of the drones now getting taken out at this third base location. Those Lings are all on red health. They're basically 1 hit away from death. And a decent number of drones getting taken out, I think, going up to a total of 11. But more importantly, so many Infestors just got killed, guys. That was actually so worth it for Slavik. And he's going to be moving out now with a decent number of Roaches. He's got 14 in production. Some more Infestors on the way. What are the Infestor numbers on the field? 2 to 6 in flavor of... In flavor? In flavor. Tasty, tasty. It's that pizza talk getting to me again. In favor of Slavik at this moment in time. But Ourk is moving out with Roaches of his own. And that is a lot of Roaches. The number is 28 for Ourk at the moment versus the 14 for Slavik. But you know what changes that, guys? 4 Fungals. So let's see if he's able to do that. Trying to bait some Fungals out of these Infestors, but really difficult when you fly your Mutalisk directly into Spore Crawlers. Probably not the best idea. And he sees the fourth base is down. He's going to go straight for the fourth. But these are only roaches, guys. We have infestors back here for Slavik. And this could be huge for him. And look at this. Ourk actually moving back. He doesn't want to risk it. The Overseer sees that actually Slavik might have enough to defend everywhere. And he's thinking, well, maybe I can't quite pull this off right now. At the very least, I need my infestors with me. And it's a good choice for Ourk to pull back. But Slavik is looking like he's just in a good position right now. His +2 is finishing now, about 25 seconds ahead of his opponent. He has more infestors out on the field. He has 69 drones to 73, so both sides have a decent economy. And he's also about to finish his Hydralisk Den, so Slavik is just a little bit ahead at the moment, I feel. And as long as he gets... I mean, this is still within the realm of possibility where 4 or 5 fungals changes the course of the entire game. So he's ahead, but he's not winning. And here we go, the infestor actually out in front. He could fungal those infestors and roaches together. That's exactly what he's going to do. Oh, very nice. Is he going to be able to get that third fungal off and pick off that infestor? Yes, he is. So very nice there, picking off 2 infestors with 1. And it looks like Slavik is looking to move in at some point very soon indeed. Number of infestors, 7 to 5 in favor of Slavik. Number of roaches, 44 to 33 in favor of Ourk. Number of Hydralisks, 5 to 0 in favor of Slavik, who also randomly has a single token Baneling, who presumably will be the mascot of the army somewhere. Going to be attacking these rocks so that he can get over to his 4th base. Both Zergs now on 4 bases, and it looks like the roaches are moving it back towards his natural. I don't see any, like, burrowed infestors or anything. I wonder why he's moving back like that. And he's just going to be picking off an Overseer with these Hydralisks, but that doesn't mean too much at this stage in time. Hives going down for both players. Hydra's Den now coming out for Ourk as well, but Slavik already has a decent number of Hydras in with this army composition, and he's also going to be finishing his +1 Ground Carapace much faster than his opponent, a full in-game minute. And as these Hydras move out across the map, these Overlords haven't been recalled by Ourk. So many of them are going to go down here. Ourk is not going to like this one bit. It will supply block him very hard indeed, making 4 more Overlords now, but 3 have just died in the middle of the map. This is Larva that he doesn't want to have to spend on Overlords at this moment in time. And he is moving closer and closer to the 3rd base location of Slavik. +1, Ground Carapace is finished. It hasn't finished for Slavik yet. There is a minute's worth of time right now where Slavik can do so much damage. Let's see if he ends up doing so. Oh, good God, these infestors could end up being absolutely huge. And they're moving straight past the army towards a 3rd base. Needs to be careful because there are Spore Crawlers there, but there is a Hydralisk Den. And, oh my goodness, a single Roach at the Watchtower actually doing a decent amount here. And in 20 seconds, we have +1 Carapace over. And here we go, Infested Terrans coming in from both sides. We need some fungals from these, and yes, there we go, the fungals coming across from both sides. 10 seconds until +1 armor finishes for Ourk. Slavik has a huge upgrade advantage right now. More Infested Terrans coming out from the back, and it looks like Slavik is, he's actually plummeting in supply in favor to Ourk, but there we go, now remaxing, and Ourk took so much damage back there. It's hard to tell based on the... Oh, good God! Unbarring those infested in the worst location possible. And all 3 of them going down. And that was a huge bonus for Ourk as well. Both sides now maxing out once again. +2 Ground Carapace and +3 missiles attacks coming in for Slavik. Ourk, in the meantime, is forcing this army to move back and fight. But the Hydras are in the back. There are some Roaches in the front here, and it looks like, yes, Ourk will be able to overrun this army. The Hydras can't run off-creep fast enough. Great fungal growth by one of those infestors, but it looks like a small bunch of Roaches will be able to stop them from doing any more. Great fungal on the Hydras as well, but it might not be enough. Ourk has a lot of DPS here, and Slavik needs to be careful, and, oh, that is not careful enough. He is back up to 179 versus 187 supply right now. Neither side has a bank, and there are 22 Hydralisks in production for Slavik. Now, that is very high DPS, but also somewhat dicey. He needs to be careful with that. Otherwise, once a couple of fungals go off, he's just going to be losing those Hydralisks a lot faster than Ourk is with a pure Roach composition. Ourk currently has 29 Roaches to the 28 of Slavik, and he has 16 Hydras to the 22 of him as well. But he's got 6 Infestors to 2, and that's what's giving Ourk the edge in this particular game. Imagine if he just gets 3 free fungals on the back of the army in the Hydralisks. That's going to hurt, man. He's going to punch him straight in the Hydralisks, and that is not a good place to get punched. So let's see what happens here. Both sides with those upgrades. Once again, Slavik with a much faster +3 and +2. He's going to have a huge upgrade advantage over Ourk for about, this time, 2 whole minutes. +2 ground carapace has just finished for Slavik. He's taking his 5th base. Ourk has already taken his 5th. And +3 weapons is about to complete as well. He's getting ventral sacks. So I wonder if there's going to be a mass overload drop here. We have got a little bit of a cancel going on at the 5th base location. Yes, does actually manage to get that cancelled. Little bit of a drop coming in from Ourk. And really, really nice there. And he's just going to be lifting up and heading out of dodge. Oh, and very nice. Lifting up most of the units, but leaving 3 roaches and a Hydra burrowed. So smart in case the hatch goes back down and he can harass at a later date. Really smart play coming out of here from Ourk, and a Nidus network going down for Slavik. He has still a minute and a half on ground carapace level 2 and 2 minutes before his opponent actually finishes, and he's already started ground carapace level 3. So he's going to be starting that Nidus network in addition to the Spire, a second Spire, because he already has the Greater Spire complete. Where's the Nidus, actually? Nick, find me the Nidus network. There we go. Nice one, mate. Right in the middle between the natural and the 3rd base location. And where is the Overlord that's going to be used for the Nidus? There it is. It's between the natural expansion and the 3rd base, and Ourk sees it with his own Overlord. Will this be in time? The Greater Spire is only just starting at the natural expansion location. He could do a lot of damage with this, but as it currently stands, he's doing absolutely jack diddly squat. Oh, he's actually moving. Oh my god. He is moving 5 or 6 Overlords out. Is he going to just try and drop 5 or 6 different Nidus worms and force his units through one of them? I don't know, but he has an Overlord looking into the main base as well. He's getting Overlords in position to check out the 5th base location too. And we could be seeing multiple Nidus worms very shortly coming in from FXO Slavik. A massive number of roaches and hydras clearing out drones at the 4th base while we were talking there as well. Not too many workers killed though, 13 versus 12 for this game. They're just going to be focusing down the hatchery, but will not successfully be able to do so. Those 3 roaches and the Hydra, though, will try and pummel away at this 5th base, and they might actually get it. My god, that +3 attack is doing so much damage. Both sides now have +3, and I think this hatch is going to go down. There's no transfuse available because there's no queen. Oh, and so sad. The Hydra does go down just as he's burrowing. And Slavik needs to not sit back at this point. He needs to try and hit him in the Hydralisks, for lack of a better phrase. But Ourk is mining more right now because he's had his 5th base up and mining for quite some time. There are decent... Oh, wow. Full energy infestors are a terrifying sight to behold. 9 versus 8 for Slavik right now. So let's see if he ends up using this Nidus network. Still absolutely nothing in here. A little bit disappointed, but he has got Overlords absolutely everywhere. So he could potentially drop down 2 or 3 at a time. He's in fact just making Broodlords at the moment. And, okay, this could give Slavik an advantage. Because if Ourk moves out with Broodlords, Broodlords are very slow to get back and defend. So if he Niduses Ourk in the meantime and that Nidus worm doesn't actually get found out and shut down, then Ourk's going to take forever to get back and defend with the Broodlords. And as a result, Slavik might be able to wedge open the position here. So that could potentially be useful. We'll find out in just a moment. Oh, no! Oh, good God. 1 infestor going down. 2 infestors going down. Those burrowed roaches so good. And it looks like fungal growth is going to reveal them as well. So the infested Terrans will take them out. But 2 infestors going down and Slavik making 6 more. He does not care. He's just going for the world record here. Ourk is ahead 8-7 infestors as it currently stands. But we're going up to 13 infestors from Slavik. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have a little bit of a drop behind in the main base. We haven't seen a Nidus worm go down just yet, though. That was actually a drop. And these Hydras are going to take out the Overlords as we go into the 27-minute mark of this game number 2. This is really intense. Another drop going down at the main base location, rather, of Slavik. But he's not dropping the units out of the Overlords. And, okay, he is now. He came so close to losing those units there. And it looks like he's going to try and get a taste of his own medicine. The Greater Spire being targeted down at the moment. Are we going to see a transfuse on it? Yes, we are. First transfuse goes down. Second transfuse goes down. And I think the Greater Spire is completely and utterly fine. Still, no news as far as the Nidus network is concerned, though. Being very, very patient. Not using that Nidus just yet. waiting for the correct opportune moment. In the meantime, a lot more drops being loaded up for Ourk. This is really weird ZVZ. Drops versus drops, Broodlords versus Broodlords incoming, guys. And even the upgrades are similar. We're getting +2 melee attacks and +2 flyer attacks coming out from Slavik, but in the meantime, we have +2 flyer carapace coming out from Ourk. So Slavik's Broodlings are going to do more damage, but Ourk's Broodlords are going to be able to take more damage before they die. A little bit of a trade-off there as far as upgrades are concerned. And we have 2 sneaky snake infestors popping in at the 5th base location. 3 spine crawlers going down. Bleh! Goes down. And we are going to see some infested Terrans here. They will get cleaned up by the spine crawlers and the roaches combined. No real damage done. We have another drop over here at the 5th base location. I think that was the explosion from the final Baneling that was on. No, it's not. Slavik still has a single Baneling, and I don't know where that single Baneling is on the map. This is going to be like, where's... I found it! Never mind, it's at his natural. I was going to make it a game, and then I just clicked somewhere randomly and actually found it. Kill 0, of course. You can't really get too many kills on a Baneling and still be able to click on it. +3 flyer attacks now starting for Slavik as well, so he's slightly ahead as far as upgrades are concerned, but my god, this really is a slow grind. We're going into the 29-minute mark, and this could potentially go into a game 3. So, I may have someone in a room with me watching these games who just made some wrist-cutting motions. This is build-up time, guys. What can I say? And wow, that's a very, very aggressive hatchery being taken from Ourk there at the 4 o'clock position. I'm not sure that's going to survive very long, but the drops did just wander straight past it, so I guess it's possible. Both sides dropping each other now. Ourk with a bunch of overlords towards the 5th base, and funnily enough, Slavik with a bunch of overlords towards the 5th base. So these guys are dancing it up. Adrenal glands coming out from Slavik, that upgrade that all Zergs miss, and a nice drop into the main base as well from Slavik, but Ourk does actually clean it up with a Broodlord. And no adrenal glands from Ourk. Bad Ourk needs more adrenal glands, as we do see. Oh, good god, infested Terrans and fungal should be enough to pick apart those roaches. And hold on a sec, this drop is Hydralisk, so god, run away, get out of there. And these spine crawlers aren't necessarily going to be enough. Oh wow, that patch is definitely going down. Just non-stop focusing down the hatcheries. The problem is that Slavik still has a decent standing army. Ourk, thanks to all of those hatcheries that he's been killing from Slavik, has built up a massive bank versus Slavik's no bank. That's one thing I want to say which is different between these two players at the moment. 178 versus 186 supply, but both sides have a really good standing army. There are no islands on this map, Slavik, so there are no more bases to take, so he can't use his Nidus Worm. I'm afraid this particular Metropolis map doesn't have islands in the bottom left and the bottom right rather, and the top left. That's actually a good spot there from Slavik. And the fact that the game has gotten to a point where they're looking to take the islands really says a lot here. There's a lot of creep spread going on for Ourk, though. He sees a lot more of the map than Slavik does. And I think he's doing a better job going into this endgame, to be perfectly honest. He's even picking apart the creep spread from Slavik, so that all the creep on the map is only envisioned to Ourk. And I really love this play coming out of him. Of course, I don't know who's going to win, because we're going to see a stupidly messy final fight. Like, incredibly stupidly messy final fight. But it's going to be fun. We're going to see the direct counter to Broodlords, which, of course, are Broodlords, come out onto the field. And Broodlord versus Broodlord is always the most hilarious thing on Earth. There's a Broodling. Quick, I'll attack it with more Broodlings, and before you know it, your entire screen is filled with about 600 units. Unless our observer, Nick, is running a Cray supercomputer at this point, the Broodlings might crash the stream, and if they do, frankly, I will not stop laughing for about 15 minutes straight, and I'm pretty sure the stream wouldn't either. So we do see Ourk now retaking that 4 o'clock expansion, and a couple of Broodlings. Here we go! Broodlings versus Broodlings. Broodlings win. This is like a mirror matchup in Mortal Kombat, where at the end of the round, you hear, Scorpion wins. But you both chose Scorpion, so it doesn't actually tell you anything useful. And a lot of infested Terrans coming out of here from Slavik, trying to break down the spine crawler wall. But there are so many Broodlings from Ourk, I just don't think this is the correct decision. And lots of Hydralisks coming in, trying to pick apart the Corruptors. Broodlings versus Broodlings are actually happening. I'm holding down Alt because I cannot look at health bars any longer. And Ourk is looking like his Corruptors are doing a better job. Oh, good God, those Hydralisks are being fungled on the left-hand side. And all those Hydras from Slavik are going down. Baker is slowing down the game. I told you guys this was going to happen. Damn it. Damn it, Nick, if you weren't actually the observing PC, I would tell you to get out of the game right now. And Ourk is surviving with 169 supply versus the 103 from Slavik. Beautiful fungal growths on the Hydras on the left-hand side is what won him that engagement, along with good micro with the Corruptors. And as Nick slowly gets back to a playable FPS here, we have, thanks to an Overseer, Broodlords picking apart Infestors. This is a sad sight to watch. Ourk now at 184 supply versus the 105. And I think, guys, we're going to be going into a game number 3. 92 Zerglings coming in from Slavik, trying desperately to defend this onslaught from Ourk. But at the end of the day, Zerglings really don't do that well against Broodlords, and I'm afraid this army is looking like it's going to 1A2 victory. Here on Metropolis, 14 Broodlords out on the field versus a grand total of 0 from Slavik at the moment. And these Spine Crawlers will stop Ourk from advancing for at least 1.5 seconds before everything else in sight gets absolutely demolished. Even the creep spread. We have got a massive Zergling counterattack from Slavik. 3-3 with adrenal... No, 3-2 rather, with adrenal glands into a lot of bases. And this could actually force a base trade if we're not careful here. Oh my goodness, this could be a really smart play coming out of Slavik. A lot of buildings going down in the natural expansion in the third base. But guess what, guys? Broodlings are free. And both sides now boxing the crap out of each other. And oh no, Broodlord's even trying to tackle the Infestors from Slavik. Slavik cannot lose the Infestors, or that really is the game beyond the shadow of a doubt. And it looks like the Lings will be able to clean up the third base and the natural. He needs to move into the main, though. He needs to stop destroying things like Larva and Broodlings. And actually, the Lings at the natural get completely cleaned up. Slavik needs to move on to other things. There we go, moving on to the fourth base as well. All the tech in the main base has just been destroyed. The Hive still does exist for Ourk in his main base. I'd love to see, 16 Spine Crawlers in his main or something, just to try and defend. Oh, and that's exactly what we have going. We have 9 Spine Crawlers at the 5th base location. Let's see if they hold out against these Lings, though. He needs to start rebuilding some of his tech. He's got some good Spine Crawlers going down at the 4 o'clock base, which ironically is now becoming quite relevant, since he was able to hold that. More Broodlings versus Infestors. Not a great trade there. And Slavik hanging on just, but he's at 135 supply to a maxed out Ourk. This is looking very, very difficult for our FXO player right now, and I think this series is going to eventually end up being tied 1-1. The Broodlords, there's just no answer to them at the moment, and Slavik is producing some Corruptors very slowly. But look at how many Corruptors Ourk has out on the field. He has 24 Corruptors. No matter how quickly Slavik does this, it's going to take a lot of minutes, okay, before there are enough Corruptors to battle this air army coming out of Ourk. And a lot of minutes is exactly how long Ourk needs to demolish the rest of the bases as far as Slavik is concerned. So this is looking really, really tough. He's still hanging on, maybe trying to tire his opponent out a little bit. But to be honest, guys, he's pretty dead. He is actually pretty dead. The Lings are cleaned up. That counter-attacking fourth, there are still 3 bases out for Ourk, including his Hive, by the way, which is in the main base. And Slavik's down to 111 supply. He has a lot of energy on these Infestors, and here we go. Beach party, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of beach balls going down. Infested Terrans versus Infested Terrans. Broodlings, not versus Broodlings, though, unfortunately. And the Corruptors coming in, picking off all the anti-air from Slavik. Great fungal growths on them, though, but I don't think it's going to be enough. 188 supply to 79, and too much carnage. I'm holding down my old key, and Nick is about to slow down the game again, I am sure, as Slavik dips below 60 supply now. And I think this will be it. GG, Ourk wins game number 2.